At this point, I think I've seen every single hack out there for how to land a job more quickly. Some of them are okay, but most of them are completely ridiculous. So in this video, I'm gonna break down the most common job hacks that I'm seeing and why you may want to think twice about trying to implement them. Hey everybody, my name is Brian and I'm a former recruiter and a career coach, and I teach people how to reclaim control in their careers and find jobs more quickly and efficiently and with more authority. So if this kind of content piques your interest, maybe hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And before we get into those job hacks, I'd like to introduce today's sponsor, DeleteMe. More on them in a minute. So I went down a little bit of a rabbit hole on some relatively viral career-related hacks from content creators all across the internet, and I wanted to react to them and then give my impression on whether or not they're worth trying or whether or not they're a waste of time. And as a disclaimer, this is not meant to be a personal attack on any of the content creators featured in this video, but rather my reaction to the specific advice that they're giving in these career hacks. So it doesn't mean that if I featured them on here, I didn't like them, that the rest of their content isn't good. It's just this specific video, so I just wanted to point that out. So the first one we have here is a relatively common career hack that I see. This is probably one of the most common resume hacks, and it's how to beat the ATS system and increase the chances of getting your basically getting your resume seen, getting an interview.
So you're looking for a job, you have the skills for the position, but you don't necessarily have the disposable income to have your resume professionally done.
First things first. I don't recommend that anybody use a professional resume writing service to write their resume because, number one, I feel it's a big waste of money. Most people spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, and they end up with a document that's not even optimized for the role that they're applying to, so you still have to customize beyond that. Most of the resumes that I've seen that are written professionally, I have to do a lot of cleaning up and fixing anyway. And the reason being is there's a lot of resume writers out there who don't follow best practices because they've never been involved in the hiring process before. A lot of times they're just professional writers, and you need somebody that truly understands how hiring works. The best way to do that is to learn that skill yourself and then just write your own resumes, because it's going to directly impact the bottom line of your career. So I don't recommend that people hire a resume writer. So let's continue.
Well, I have a hack to help you get past the ATS system. So you know employers use ATS tracking systems to screen resumes, applicant tracking systems. It's a software. And what it does is it weeds out resumes that don't have the necessary skills for the position being applied for. So about 72% of the resumes never get through, and these people don't get interviews. I got a hack. It worked for me. This hack worked for me. So if you can use it, fine. If you can't, leave it behind. So here's what you do. You copy all the skills from the position that you're applying for, verbatim. You paste it into your resume anywhere, right? Now, make sure the text is white. Change the text from black to white so it's invisible. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you're submitting it to the recruiter. They're going to send it through, and the ATS is going to pick up all the skills. Then your chances of getting an interview will be great.
Okay, your chances of getting an interview are next to nothing if that's how you're trying to stuff. It's called keyword stuffing. If you're trying to stuff your keywords in this method, you have next to no chance at getting an interview. So I don't know how she got an interview from this. I mean, could it work? I suppose on the one-off. But if a recruiter is using a keyword in the ATS system, they're going to type that keyword or the phrase of keywords in, and then it'll actually highlight for the recruiter, showing it where it's in the resume, where it's in the document. The ATS system will automatically do that. So if you pad it into white lettering at the bottom of your resume or hidden somewhere, it's actually going to go and highlight that. And what that's going to do for the recruiters, they're going to see that you tried to hack your way into the interview process. And what that's going to do is cause them complete doubt on the rest of your application, because they're going to think that you falsified everything. And the chances of you actually moving forward after they notice that hack, which is nearly 100%, they're going to move you into the no pile and you're going to get rejected. So this hack absolutely does not work. I would not recommend it. I'm going to give this one a thumbs down. Next up, we have a 10-second ChatGPT resume hack.
Use this ChatGPT resume writing hack to get more interviews. Before you apply to your next job, paste the job posting into ChatGPT along with this prompt. It'll give you a nice list of the top keywords you need for your resume. Put those in areas of expertise.
We're noticing some issues with layout. The this here you have 4 columns and these weird bullet points. Then you got these career highlights. There's a lot of stuff in this particular resume that I just don't feel are very good practices. And then there's a lot of redundancies. You got professional summary, area of expertise, career highlights before you even get to the professional experience. And this is what recruiters are really caring about, is what's in the professional experience. Then you got another short overview, and then you get into your bullet points. So it's like you've got so many layers of fluff before you actually get to the stuff we care about, which is job title and bullet points. So in this case, does the ChatGPT tip work? I would say, yeah, it does, but I don't know if you need to go to ChatGPT. You just like go look at the job posting and pull out the stuff and then create your bullet points based off of that. I like the ChatGPT side of things to be able to identify the skill. I don't like the actual implementation of it in this resume template that is presented here. So I would say maybe a middle of the road thumb. And when you're applying to a lot of different jobs, you have a lot of different volume of applications, you're actually sending out your resume to a lot of different companies. And a lot of those companies are taking your information and they're sharing it with a database called the Work Number. And then they basically will provide this service for employers to do employment verification, onboarding, even some payroll data and that sort of thing. And their business is data reselling. They make your information available to data brokers who can take your information and then sell it to email lists and other places that you don't want your information showing up. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of hacks as well. And so we have to protect ourselves. And that's why I'm excited to partner with this segment's sponsor, DeleteMe. DeleteMe makes your personal information yours again. So basically what they do is they look for instances where your information is showing up publicly online and they help you remove it automatically. So how it works is you submit a little bit of personal information so that they know what to go and look for. And then they will actively look for instances where your information is showing up on search engines and data broker sites. And then they'll start to remove that personal information for you. And every so often, you'll get a privacy report sent to you, which will show you exactly what it is that they're doing behind the scenes, how many instances they found, and how many they've actually removed. And it's just an added layer of security knowing that I've got DeleteMe working behind the scenes 24 hours a day, looking for my personal information and keeping it private for me. And if you want to get started, DeleteMe has been very gracious to offer a 20% discount if you use the code LAYOFF. And so I will leave a link in the comments below so that you can get signed up today. Okay, so the next hack we have is a video interview hack.
Nobody's gonna know.
Something tells me that we're gonna know.
Nobody's gonna know.
They're gonna know.
How would they know?
Okay, so
How would they know? How would they know?
I can.
okay, so there's all this interview prep that is clearly on the screen. You got company values, you've got ask past, present, and future. You've got some organizations, it's like some pretty generic stuff here. Ask about handling the pandemic, situation to star, methodology, time management. There's some like cheat sheet stuff here. You know, it's all of these Post-it notes to me are incredibly distracting, and you can barely even see the screen. You'll barely be able to see the interviewer. And I just feel like this is not a very effective way of interview preparation, because you've got all these Post-it notes, and what you're doing is you're going from Post-it note to Post-it note trying to look for what information you need. And what can end up happening is you can kind of start freaking out. And so I don't think that this is an effective way at all to prepare for and to deliver a good interview, because it's like calm down, slow down, smile, eye contact. I feel like this is something that you should be doing in your preparation. And if you even need to go onto Zoom, I think they have a way of even recording a blank Zoom call so you can practice before you head into the Zoom and just get really good at this stuff. And you shouldn't need all these Post-it notes. I feel like this is going to completely slow you down. This is actually, I think, more detrimental than anything. So I'm going to give this one a thumbs down. Now, keeping in the spirit of it, this is kind of a little of the same thing, but it's kind of to the next level. But here you can see
the #1 greatest tip to crush your next interview. Just like in school when you had an open book exam, I'm going to teach you how to create a cheat sheet for your interview. I'm going to show you the exact cheat sheet one of my clients used to land a job at Apple. First step, fill out the basic information of the company and the person you'll be interviewing with.
Now, that in and of itself is a good tip. You're doing methodical research of the company, trying to understand what division you'd be supporting, you're obviously looking at the job description and the role and taking any potential notes. So, I mean, that's stuff that we should be doing anyway. So don't necessarily mind where we are right now in this video.
Next step, fill out your basic steps with your current job. This will help organize your thoughts as you're answering questions. Next step, gather the questions you want to ask during the interview. This will make sure you don't forget anything you need to ask during the interview.
Now, that's a good tip too. Make sure you have some questions identified, and I usually have a strategy there that I will implement, and I try to get those questions answered early or asked early in the interview, not waiting until the end. So far, so good.
Next step, post a job description from the exact job posting. Once you finish this tip sheet, all you have to do is study it before the interview.
Yeah, so far I like it. I think this is where he goes off the rails with it though.
And then have it up on a monitor while you're talking on your virtual interview.
That's where he goes off the rails for me, because you saw how much information was in that document. There was a ton of information, and when you're looking for something on a document that's 5, 6, 7 pages long, the interviewer is asking you a question. What is going to happen 100% of the time is you're going to start scrolling and not be actually thinking about the interview and the answers that you're supposed to be giving. And you're going to spend more time trying to scroll through where that piece of information was written. And what will happen is it's almost like the Jeopardy. I think the Jeopardy song, that music, do 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 do, start playing in the background of my mind, going, okay, I only have a few seconds to answer this, but I'm spending my time scrolling. And it's like once you commit to scrolling through your document, you're not committing to actually just thinking about the answer that you want to deliver, and you kind of screw yourself basically, because now you're deer in headlights. If you don't find the information you're looking for, now you're going to start trying to stall the interview, and the interviewer is going to wonder what's going on, and you're likely going to be robotic in your delivery. So it's not a good result. A much more effective way to go about this is to just do good interview preparation. Make sure that you have an interview strategy going in. In other words, know how to deliver the answers in the most effective way, because there is a strategy there, and know what they're likely to be asking, because again, there is a strategy there as well. And if you have some basic methodologies on how to deliver these answers, you don't need any of this stuff. It's just complete a waste of time, and I think it's really dangerous. Honestly, I liked everything he was saying up until put it on a screen and use that as a crutch for your interview, because I've just seen it mess too many people up. So I'm going to give a neutral to a neutral thumbs down for this. If he just kept it and said, this is the interview prep, I would like it to give it a thumbs up. But once you're putting it on the screen next to you at the time of interview, I have to give it a thumbs down for that. All right, next we have an interview hack.
And achieve goals, ensuring that they are met effectively.
Okay, about this question. When it comes to setting and achieving goals, I think it's all about
Oh gosh, okay, I
and
gotta watch
achieve
that
goals, ensuring that they are met effectively.
Okay, so there's a lot going on here. First of all, she's got this interviewer. The interviewer is completely low energy, delivers the questions in such a monotone and boring way. There's no spunk to her, and I mean, almost looks like she's like hands on her face, but we can't see because this the interviewee's phone is completely covering where her face is, and it's transcribing the question, and I don't know if there's a language barrier between the interviewer and the interviewee, but it's transcribing it, or it is capturing it through maybe a chat GPT, some sort of an app, and then it is giving a chat GPT answer based on what it's hearing from her. I mean, like, she's going to see you reaching to the screen constantly and pushing buttons, because you have to, it says answer complete. You have to hit the button to move to the next thing and to scroll around. And that's just such an awkward experience.
okay about this question.
I mean, now she's waiting for it to generate. So now she's like having to stall the interviewer. Again, the interviewer looks like she's completely bored to be there, but maybe she realizes that this interviewee is creating her answers on ChatGPT, and she's just kind of rolling her eyes at this point. But now it's giving you this answer is obviously not authentic, because it's a ChatGPT driven answer. And now she's going to have to read from a script. So she's going to sound completely robotic. And if you listen to her, it sounds like she is reading from a script, and it is very unauthentic and very awkward and does not convey a strong sense of the command of the particular competency that she's answering, and it's just not a good result. So let's just listen to how she answers it.
When it comes to setting and achieving goals, I think it's all about.
I don't know if you could hear that. It's kind of on the low end, but she's very monotone, choppy, trying to read that information back, and I can guarantee you that she did not move forward in the interview. Okay, and here's the last one that I want to cover in today's video, and this is a service that is a job search hack. So let's take a look.
I can't believe that applying to a job can be as easy as pressing a button on your phone. I remember when I would have to scroll through thousands of job posting sites to find one job that I actually like, and then when I click on the job posting, it would redirect me to the company's career website, and then I would have to input a resume, a cover letter, and also input all the jobs I've had, even though they're already on my resume. But listen, this...
Okay, one quick thing to point out here is it's like easy apply on LinkedIn. The easy apply button makes it easy to apply, but it also means that everybody else can easy apply as well. And that just promotes people not sending in very targeted resumes, which means easy reject. That's basically when I would do recruiters that I worked with on my teams, we would call easy apply the easy reject button, because most of the applications that we got through easy apply were completely unrelated or very untargeted, and we wouldn't really hire too many people from it because the resumes just weren't very close. So I usually would have to go off and find my own candidates anyway. So avoid the temptation of trying to apply through easy apply only, because it is going to give you less of a result, because it's too tempting to just send off quick resumes to 100 different employers. And it's like, yeah, you can throw mud up against the wall and see what sticks, and you may get a job offer or a job opportunity out of it. But it's just not the most effective way, especially if you're trying to go for very high quality positions and you care about your career. If you're just somebody that's doing a job search and you're just spraying and praying, then that's a different story. But people who actually truly want to target their job search and get really well-paying jobs in their verticals where they're trying to move their career forward, we just don't want to do this method. Secondly, going over to the corporate website. It is a pain. You have to sign up for their system. You have to go through you're going to have to go through it anyway if you get hired by them, because they're going to need your application on file, because they have to use that for the background checks and all of that stuff. So you're going to have to do it anyway. And you have to keep in mind that because of the easy apply, a lot of people won't be taking that step. And so we'll usually start with our ATS system applicants first. Like every day in the morning, I would log into my systems and I would go clear out my resumes that came in, the applications that came in on my ATS system. But if this other application, Easy Apply, was through, like, say, the Indeed site, that was a separate grouping of resumes. I had to physically log into Indeed and go through, unless I had it connected to my ATS system, but in most cases I wouldn't have all of these sites connected to my ATS system. But I would have to physically go over to Indeed and look through a second group or a second a grouping of resumes trying to look for candidates. And so sometimes if I found my candidate in the main bucket, I wouldn't necessarily always go over to the Indeed. And so in other words, applying on the corporate website is to your advantage, because less people are going to be there. You're more likely to be looked at by a recruiter. And if you didn't get that job in the future, another recruiter on the team could go back and search the ATS system and still be able to recruit you for future opportunities. So there's more advantages to applying on the corporate website. And if you're going to get hired there, you're still going to have to apply online anyway. So I don't really like this job search hack that she's sharing.
This app has changed the job search game, okay? So I can literally look through thousands of jobs on my phone and apply literally on the go. Not only that, I can just press one button right here and I just apply to the job. How easy was that? And you can actually message the employer. I was used to employers ghosting me. So download the Job Today app now, and trust me, you're gonna thank me for this.
And I'm not familiar with the Job Today app. It did look like it was a lot of localized hourly positions like baristas, bartenders, etc. There wasn't a lot of professional level jobs there, and didn't have a ton of positions on there. But nonetheless, applying for professional level jobs, you want to have some degree of control over what you're applying to. You don't just want to be spraying and praying, and I'm going to give this not necessarily the Job Today app, but the tip itself as a down. I'm going to give that a thumbs down, but who knows? If you're looking for a barista job, maybe check out this Job Today app. So as you can see, most of these job search hacks are just that. They're hacks, and they're not really all that effective. And in fact, in some cases, they can actually hurt you. The best bet here to find a job is just to do the old-fashioned way of being the best possible candidate and presenting yourself in the most effective manner and just being consistent about it. And sure, there's things that we can do to speed up our job search and be more efficient, but there's really no magic tricks to just doing the work. But if you find yourself struggling in your job search, that's actually what I specialize in. I've got a website called alifeafterlayoff.com, which is loaded with tips and tricks, and I share my deepest and most intimate knowledge in the form of some training courses. First one being Resume Rocketfuel, which teaches you how to write a resume from a recruiter's perspective. So it's all the best practices laid out in a very easy to follow format. And of course, we avoid doing things that ATS systems don't like. In fact, I actually include a template for you that's already ATS approved. So if you're interested in learning how to write a resume that actually gets results, check out Resume Rocketfuel. But once you get your foot in the door, it's then up to you to market yourself throughout the rest of the interviewing process. And that's where the Ultimate Job Seeker Bootcamp comes in, because you shouldn't need to put Post-it notes on your screen in order to ace your interview. So I give you tips and techniques on how to get through each round, and then strategies on how to actually approach your interview with strength so that you don't need to rely on these hacks that just aren't effective. And of course, once we get to the job offer, make sure that you don't leave any money on the table by careful negotiation and strategy there. So we teach you how to do all that stuff. And then if you want to skip the recruiter altogether, that's the preferable method, and you need to leverage tools like LinkedIn. And that's why I created the course Unlocking LinkedIn, which teaches you how to build a profile that gets the attention of recruiters, and then also how to skip the recruiter altogether, because that's the preferable method. If we can get those recruiters to come and find us, we don't have to worry so much about applying for jobs. But if we can get in front of the line of all the other candidates who are vying for these same valuable positions, that's going to be the best possible way to get a job. So I teach you how to do that in the course Unlocking LinkedIn. Anyway, hopefully you found this video to be helpful and you're not going to rely on any hacks that just aren't going to help you get a job any quicker. And once more, I want to thank today's sponsor, DeleteMe. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.